Hello and welcome everyone. Here we are. We're back for some more. We're not back for Modern. This is a banned and restricted update discussion. This is gonna be a little bit longer. We're gonna get to Modern at the end. Because yeah, we're gonna talk about everything else first. Starting with the format I care the absolute least about, which is historic. Omnath is banned from suspended, and Uro is banned. I think the suspended list is the most pointless thing in all of historic. I think it's a stupid thing. I can understand if like suspended list was going to be like, we're going to remove it for a week or two and see how the format shakes up, and then make a decision. But considering as most cards that get suspended stay suspended or just get banned a long time later, I think it's pointless. Anyway, big whoop. Don't really care about historic, but these are not surprising things. Then, vintage, Luris of the Dream Den. Even with the change to the companion rule, Luris is still just way too powerful. Yeah, no surprise to see it get banned. Then let's go to Legacy. So in Legacy, of course, Snowco had been a dominating deck for a long time. And by dominating, I mean just it's everywhere. I don't know actually if it's putting up that much results one-sidedly, but it's definitely showing up a lot. I've been playing since the Patreon submitted Legacy deck. I've been playing a lot of Legacy decks or Legacy online, and been running a lot into Snowco. I played an entire league with that Esper list and just ran into literally 5 Okos. I went 2-3, unfortunately, which sucked, but yeah. Arkham Destrelay is banned. This card just kind of a ridiculous card with snow enablers. Also just kind of made it so there was no reason not to play snow. And then finally, Dreadhorde Arcanist is banned. This card was just ridiculous in Delver decks. The amount of value it had was just unbelievable. On top of that, being a red creature meant that not as much removal was going towards it because you couldn't hit it with red elemental blasts and stuff. But yeah, so no surprise there. Not really, at least. Kind of sad that Oko's only legal in Vintage now. I really liked playing it, but it is what it is. Anyway, on to Pioneer. Pioneer is a format I enjoyed for quite a while, but then combo kind of got out of hand. And we haven't picked it up since then, really. We tried to record one league in there as of late, and that was pretty fun, but yeah, still just not really where I want to be at. So, but anyway, so they banned Balustrade Spy and Undercity Informant, which of course was basically making the Oops All Spells deck happen in Pioneer. They also banned Teferi Time Raveler and Uro and Wilderness Reclamation. I think these are fine. I think banning Wilderness Reclamation, especially in Pioneer, is helpful. There's a lot of busted stuff you could do with control decks and stuff. Also, just in fair decks, being able to play all your turn and then untap and then be able to do whatever you had to on your opponent's turn. Teferi Time Raveler is not a fun card. No surprise it got banned in Pioneer. Same thing with Uro. Uro, I think Uro was actually just too strong for Pioneer. I don't think Uro was too strong for Modern, but Pioneer it was definitely too strong for. Yeah. I'm cool with all these changes. I think this is going to open up the format to some more decks and back to kind of a brewing state. Pioneer to me has kind of been a format that just the lack of attention with a ban list for a long time, and then just the prevalence of combo decks just ruined the format for me. On top of that, the lack of popularity on MTGO has meant that I couldn't play the format as much as I'd like to, because there's not as many people in the league, which means not as many matches fire quickly. All right. So before we actually talk about Modern, we're going to talk about the rules change. So basically what's going to happen here with this rules change, it'll be in effect Wednesday. Well, it's technically in effect now. But the day it'll actually be changed is February 17th on Magic Online. That's Wednesday. Now, what this means is, you can probably pause it to read it, or you can pull up the link in the description below to this article. But I'm just going to basically describe it for you. So essentially what this Cascade change does is now it checks upon revealing the card and upon casting the card for its converted mana cost. So when you go to cast the card, it also has to check as CMC X or less. So with Bloodbraid, 3 or less. With Outburst and those things, 2 or less. So on and so forth. So, with that being the case, no longer can hit Tybalt Cosmic Imposter, but can still hit Valky. Yeah. So, now on to the modern banned and restricted list. Of course, Uro is banned. No surprise there, as well as Tybalt's Trickery. We knew Uro was going to be banned. Tybalt's Trickery needed to be banned. It's a dumb card to have in the format. Shouldn't be there. Just no reason for it. So, yeah. Simian Spear Guide is banned. Now, this is another one that I'm pretty happy about. I'm not a huge fan of free mana in a format like Modern. I think that it can be a little too powerful. And it does kind of suck because you have the decks that are like Mono Red Prison and stuff that were a thing that take a hit from this. But it means ad nauseum decks lose their free combo. It means stuff like that. And I think that's a huge deal because just cutting out that free mana, that mana accelerator, also makes Oops All Spells not as powerful. But I think Oops All Spells can still be a deck. I think ad nauseum's done, though. I think not being able to go off the same... Like, you have to get 2 additional mana now to go off, or 3 additional mana now to go off. Which can push you beyond a turn 5 combo. I think that makes the deck probably not able to play straightforward. I mean, I'm sure we'll still see the Angel's Grace cast... Thassa's Oracle, Spoils in the Vault. I think that combo deck could still exist, but certainly not ad nauseum in the way it had existed. The 2 cards I'm surprised to see banned, but not really too sad about, are Mystic Sanctuary and Field of the Dead. Field of the Dead has been an obnoxious, abusive card for its entire existence, basically, since at least after the first year. Before the first year, it wasn't that bad, I guess, but after that first year, it was real abusive. It made control decks just so miserable to play. You got paired up against a lands deck. Oh, it was a nightmare. It was not fun. It was a disaster. Nobody enjoyed it. It does kind of suck because it does take away from the actual decks, like, say, Titan Shift and stuff like that were playing it as an alternative win condition. But, yeah, it is what it is. Not a big deal, I don't think, for those decks in the end of the day. If anything, that makes Amulet Titan and Scape Shift decks a little bit weaker. Losing Uro and that, I think, absolutely destroys Teamer Scape Shifts, which is kind of sad. But I think losing both means that it just won't be optimal to play a weaker Teamer ramp deck. And Mystic Sanctuary, man, is kind of the most surprising, even though, to me, honestly, it was a more problematic card than Uro. Just fetching and Cryptic Loop, fetching and Archmage Charming, like, all this stuff is just so ridiculous and so much value. And that's it. The fact that you can play a bunch of these in your deck for little cost. It's definitely not no cost. We've seen plenty of times where we have a hand where we have one of them and we have to play it tapped on turn 1 or 2. But in the grand scheme of things, very little cost. Just ridiculous. Honestly, I don't think it's one of those cards that's, I think it's a card that was just simply the oversight of older formats. I don't blame Wizards too much for not playtesting older formats when they print new cards. That would just take way too much time to create a relatively well-balanced standard format and a well-balanced modern format with new cards. Of course, I feel less this way when you consider in the fact that Wizards has done an absolutely horrible job of balancing their standard formats because of sets. I mean, just look at Throne of Eldraine. I mean, Jesus, are you shitting me? Like, how did for even a second Oko and Uro get playtested in the same standard? That's what I want to know. Yeah. And then I think they've been testing Omnath in that same standard too. Omnath, Oko, and Uro. That's something I don't get right there, to be honest. But I don't know. I can completely understand that I don't fully comprehend the process. So I completely believe if someone told me, well, it's a lot more complicated than that, sure. I don't feel like it is, but sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how Modern shapes up. This has significantly hit two specific types of decks. It has hit control decks, and it has hit combo decks. Again, I don't think all the combo decks in the format are obviously going to be very affected, especially considering as you have combo decks like Neoform and Storm that exist still that are absolutely unaffected by this ban list. Right? Neoform wasn't playing Simian Spirit Guide. Right? No, it wasn't. It didn't play red cards, right? Did it? I think it did. Alright, for anyone who already commented in the comment section before I could search the answer up, they did play Simian Spirit Guides. Do I think that this in the long run is a big hit to them? Yes and no. This does mean they can't combo in one turn anymore. So big plus there. Yeah, this means that you have a chance to win the game. Cool. Is still a turn 1 or 2 7/7 pretty good? Yes, it is still very good, but it does open things up more. But yeah, so Simian Spirit Guide does affect that deck too, after all. But still, there's still Storm, which is a pretty strong combo deck that's unaffected by this. Again, Trickery was its own combo deck that's no longer around now. I'll be excited to see where it goes. I do think that with Uro gone, we're going to have a problem. I think that there's going to be an issue where the blue-red prowess, mono-red prowess decks, and Boros burn decks become a little too powerful. And we could see that become an even bigger problem, especially if people start picking back up humans again and start trying to play humans now that these blue soup Uro decks are not going to be around. Because those decks also traditionally make humans very difficult to play because of just how much removal they have, especially the prowess decks. Being able to remove your stuff without any real concern. But yeah, I don't really know how things are going to be moving forward. I am absolutely excited for how Modern will shake up. Like I said, I personally can't stand these prowess decks, and I don't think that the format would be better off without any of them, because I do think Burn being in the format is a good thing. I think if Burn is one of your best decks in the format, that's not a bad thing. Even though I hate Burn personally, I think that it's a sign that you have a decent format. But of course, that was of course a thing before Prowess was a big thing. Now we have this blue-red Prowess deck that is very much so an unhinged, just stupid, busted deck that doesn't, the tools that it's been printed with doesn't deserve it. I would rather have seen Manamorphose gone than Simian Spirit Guide, to be honest, because I think that card is just absolutely way more absurd. But we'll see. Anyway, I think that's all I got. I mean, we got everything pretty much most of the Magic players, at least on social media that I follow, have been asking for. I wanted Tybalt's Trickery gone. I wanted Field of the Dead gone. And I wanted some kind of hit to the combo decks. Again, I would have preferred Manamorphose, but Spirit Guide is good too. And then, of course, the Cascade rule change. Again, kind of sucks because Bloodbraid and Fair Strategies, get hit from this as well. But, yeah. It is what it is, I guess. We'll see how it shakes up. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.